Over the course of 6 weeks, 16 people vanished from the streets of Osaka. When 9 of them eventually reappeared, they were physically intact, but their eyes were fixed and their minds were vacant. These disappearances were concentrated in some of the most heavily trafficked areas of the city, like the neon-lit Dotonbori Canal. The returnees exhibited a deeply unnerving stillness. They sat for days staring into the middle distance, completely unresponsive to physical pain or the voices of their families. Occasionally, they would whisper fragmented, nonsensical words. Medical personnel were baffled. Extensive toxicological screens and neurological imaging showed absolutely no trace of drugs, toxins, or physical trauma to the brain. They hadn't suffered a conventional injury. It was a systemic deletion of their identity. The biological hardware of the body was running perfectly, but the software of the self had been removed. The official investigation quickly stalled, leaving the case to 2 individuals operating on the fringes, Detective Kaito Mori and investigative journalist Hana Sato. Both were driven by personal losses, making them uniquely unwilling to accept the police department's institutional silence. Their break came from a young victim named Aoki Takeshi. Unlike the others, Aoki retained a thin tether to his identity and managed to communicate a single recurring memory of his captivity, a bright white room. Aoki also recalled a specific detail from a plaque on the wall, the Chengdu Institute for Neuroscience. Connecting the Osaka cases to an institute specialized in state-level psychological research revealed the scale of the crisis. Mori realized the White Room wasn't a criminal hideout, but part of a scientific apparatus with the resources to process human beings on an industrial scale. The trail led to a 2012 cover-up in China and a neurologist named Dr. Zhang Yi. Miura Shoji, whose research had vanished from academic records. Miura held a radical thesis. He believed that the human sense of self is a narrative prison, a source of endless anxiety and trauma. He sought to cure humanity by turning off the brain's engine of identity. Look at the default mode network. This model shows the medial prefrontal cortex and posterior cingulate, which manage our personal history. Miura's chemical compound, delivered through ambient air, binds to the network and suppresses its activity. It silences the ego, keeping the body perfectly alive. The resulting condition is what Miura called the base state. It leaves a consciousness without identity, existing entirely in the present moment, without any personal story to anchor it. Miura wasn't murdering his victims. He was reducing them to their biological minimum, stripping away every memory and preference that made them an individual. This kind of research requires massive funding. Mori and Sato traced the financial backing to the Risho Foundation, linking Miura's unauthorized experiments directly to the highest levels of Osaka's business and political elite. With that capital, Miura established hidden holding pens in the city's maintenance tunnels and abandoned commercial spaces to house his subjects. His notes revealed an escalation called Phase 3. In this stage, Miura recalibrated the dosage and exposure times to ensure the suppression of the self was a permanent neurological shift. When Mori tried to secure evidence from these sites, the investigation was sabotaged from the inside. Crucial chemical swabs went missing, and files on the Foundation's board were redacted by senior police officials. Miura had found eager partners in a bureaucratic state apparatus that recognized a grim utility in his work. A population of empty citizens is far easier to manage than a suffering one. Mori finally tracked the architect of the crisis to a rain-slicked neighborhood operating in the shadow of the old Tsutenkaku Tower. Confronted, Miura offered no apologies. He framed his actions as a humanitarian intervention, arguing that the self-narrative is the root of all human misery. He referenced Mori's own daughter, who had suffered from severe depression. Miura argued that his compound could have silenced her pain, offering her a quiet, clinical peace. Mori rejected the mercy Miura claimed to provide. He argued that hollowing out a person to eliminate their problems is just a liquidation of the self, choosing a theft of autonomy over the difficult work of healing. Miura operates from a place of absolute cold certainty. He maintains a scientific conviction that a person is improved once they are hollowed out, that the void he creates is a superior state to the messiness of individual life. In the end, the institutional cover-up held. The government classified all of Miura's research under national security provisions, and his trial was conducted entirely behind closed doors. The victims faced divergent fates. While a few slowly regained fragments of their identities, others remained permanently hollow, living out their remaining decades quietly in long-term neurological care facilities. One recovered victim, staring blankly from her hospital bed, slowly turned to the investigators, smiled faintly, and offered a single whisper. The room is still there. And while the Osaka file was quietly buried, identical cases of sudden, inexplicable emptiness have begun surfacing in other cities. The experiment is expanding.